And then I have a picture of Sakyamuni Buddha, where I'll basically outline the story of the historical Buddha, which I think probably all of you listening to this video are familiar with, and that the students will probably be familiar with. So I'll probably fly through this pretty fast in terms of, his birth in India and the prediction that he would either be a great sort of king or a great holy man. And of course, his dad wanted him to be a king, so he protected him and insulated him from the real world outside the palace grounds. But he eventually, through his curiosity, he left the grounds surreptitiously, and he exposed himself to the various ills, the dukkha of the world, the old age, the illness, the death that is part of the human condition. And it was that inspired him and stimulated him to leave the palace grounds, leave his family, and hook up with various teachers to try to find a solution to the problem of suffering. And of course, after 6 years, he eventually, after trying various ascetic and other types of approaches, became enlightened under the Bodhi tree, discovering or being able to articulate, so to speak, the benefit and merits of the middle way between the extremes of asceticism and overindulgence. And of course, when he became enlightened, he said to himself, my goodness gracious, this is not something that people are going to get. I just don't think there's any benefit in me trying to share this with anybody. But supposedly he was inspired by the powers that be, the cosmic forces in the universe, who encouraged him to go forward and try to teach what he learned and experienced and the insight that he discovered. And so he again went back to his former colleagues and started preaching basically what we know are the Four Noble Truths and the Eightfold Path. So then we go to a slide on Theravada Buddhism, or School of the Elders, which, as I alluded to earlier, is the one surviving branch of the earliest form of Buddhism. Scriptures written in the Pali language, and of course it spread to Sri Lanka, Burma, Thailand, and Cambodia. And here I'm going to read an excerpt from the Kalama Sutta, sometimes referred to as the Buddhist Charter of Free Inquiry. And you'll want to note perhaps that I have an entire video reciting essentially this whole scripture, but what I want to communicate to these students is Buddha's message to the Kalamas, the people within this community who were bombarded by various holy people, scholars, teachers, whatever, each of whom said, hey, I know the truth, here it is, don't pay any attention to anybody else. So the Buddha comes in, he's already well respected, but these are not his disciples. But, they ask him, hey, what can you tell us your perspective on how we should, take in or perceive or process the various kinds of inputs we're getting from these other teachers? So he says, quote, it is proper for you, Kalamas, to doubt, to be uncertain. Uncertainty has arisen in you about what is doubtful. Come, Kalamas, do not go upon what has been acquired by repeated hearing, nor upon tradition, nor upon rumor, nor upon what is in a scripture, nor upon surmise, nor upon an axiom, nor upon spacious reasoning, nor upon a bias toward a notion that has been pondered over, nor upon another's seeming ability, nor upon the consideration, quote, the monk is our teacher, close quote. Kalamas, when you yourselves know, quote, these things are bad, these things are blamable, these things are censured by the wise, undertaken and observed, these things lead to harm and ill, close quote. Abandon them.